Hello, people. How are you doing? All right, so welcome back again with another session of Hacker Play by React Play. So we are running a hackathon, and it's been going great for last couple of weeks. And finally, we are the last week of the hackathon. What I'm going to do is, like as usual, we have been doing some excellent sessions by the industry expert, the field experts who are coming and giving you a lot of value add from the field that they are expert in. So previously we had a couple of sessions. One was with Sumit on YouTube, and before that we had a session about Bugfinder on our Discord channel. And today we have a very special person, Siddharth. So I'm going to bring Siddharth on stage. All right. Hey, Siddharth, how are you doing?
Hello, hi Tapas. All good. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. It's Monday, but still, I think we have got a good start of the week with a call with you, right? So it's good. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm looking forward to this one. So let's see how that goes.
Very good. So let me get started by introducing Siddharth. So I kind of started talking to Siddharth very recently, of course, due to this particular hackathon itself. I have seen him on Twitter, his work on Twitter. So he's on Twitter. Please go ahead and kind of follow him, give him a follow. He's a very passionate technology enthusiast, public speaker, a community person. That's how I know him. I kind of guessed him, but he will kind of, I'm sure, like explore more about himself and talk to us. He's a developer relation engineer at Storyblock. He's also a GitHub field expert, DigitalOcean navigator, and he is a lead organizer for a very popular hackathon called Hack the Fall. Of course, that please take some time to talk about Hack the Fall so that people know about it more. And I'm looking forward to learn a lot of stuff because he has already participated 100 plus hackathons with different kind of capabilities and capacities, which is really really amazing things. So Siddharth, over to you. Why don't you add few stuff about yourself, then we get to the topic.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Tapas, for that. It's always pleasure to meet people like you in streams or events like this, and share knowledge or experience that we have gathered. But yeah, honestly, hackathons have been super special for me since very beginning, like the beginning of my journey actually, and I've learned a lot through the hackathons. I've been able to skill up a lot in many other ways. Also, talking about hack this fall, it has been again a part of my journey. It is something which I started back in 2020, and it was just because I personally found a lack of hacker experience in India.
Hmm.
Before COVID, I used to participate or attend a lot of hackathons, going in person, travel to different cities. It was all normal back then, but there was not much awareness about hackathon. There were big hackathons happening, of course, by government, by big companies, but not more than that. It was very limited. So, but after COVID, I got to participate in a lot of virtual hackathons. So there was no virtual, there was no barrier. You could just
Yeah.
connect with people from across the globe. And that was the time I was able to participate in hackathons hosted by organizers away from India. Let's say organizers from Europe, US, Australia. And while participating, I felt a difference in the way a hacker, experiences while being a part of hackathon. I found out that the hackathons away from India were not that competitive.
Hmm.
We The focus was more into learning, collaboration, building right projects, and just getting better versions of ourselves. And that was the time I thought that why is it that missing in India, and that was a problem. So I, along with a couple of my close friends, started something which we now call Hack This Fall. Of course, the naming and everything is just a different story. But yeah, slowly and gradually we started. The response started coming in good. Our main idea was to bring the true hacker experience. We do not want it to make it competitive, but many other things which a hackathon delivers to any kind of an attendee is what matters,
Hmm.
and what the attendee gets back, you know takes away after participating in hackathon. Today itself, in the talk, I have few slides. I'm gonna touch upon a couple of points there, so you all will start feeling, okay, this is something interesting we might have never imagined before, and this is something you can also do at a hackathon. So apart from focusing on something big, there's something small little things which you might ignore, but if you do not ignore, it can really add a lot of value. So yeah,
Great.
today it's already 2023. I guess more than 2.5, 3 months with Hack This Fall, and we have done some crazy stuffs. Many more coming up soon. But yeah, I'm happy to be here talking to you all.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, looking forward to it. Definitely, Sid, we'll follow your journey from here. So, do you want me to put your slide on screen so that you can start talking about it?
Yeah, sure. We can start from there.
All right. Your slide is up. Maybe I'll just take away myself from the screen. Go ahead and talk, but I'll be able to hear you all the time. So if you need anything, just call my name. I'll appear.
Cool. Definitely. Thank you so much, Tapas.
Yep.
Awesome. So, hi everyone. Welcome once again. I already see there are some people in the chat. So, in case you are here watching, make sure you say hi, hello, anything in the chat and start greeting each other. And also, I would love to know where you all are joining in from. Maybe you can just drop in your city, state, maybe different time zone if you're coming from away from India. Feel free to drop that into the chat. I would love to have this chat very interactive. So, do not worry or do not hesitate about anything. Let's chat, know more about you. I'm also gonna talk about me myself, and then we can ask some questions to each other. We can learn from each other, and we can take it that way. So I already see Nargis in the chat. Hi Nargis, thank you so much for joining. Hi Ayush, thank you so much for joining. Nargis is joining from Bangladesh. Awesome, that's fantastic. So that is what I want you all to do. Just be interactive in the chat. Drop in whatever your thoughts are, and we would love to talk to each other. But yeah, moving on with the slide which you see in front of me, it says changing mindsets of winning a hackathon. Now, here definitely we're going to talk about how to win a hackathon, but we will also understand how to win a hackathon in a true sense, you know. So, of course, you all have different thoughts in your mind, that, okay, this is how I can win a hackathon, this is how I can be the winner of a hackathon. But maybe there are other mindsets which you might need to, understand or explore. So that is why I'm here for. I will try my best to change your mindsets of winning a hackathon. And how do you do that? But of course, I would like to invite this cute little kitty to also say hello to you all, just like you all are saying in the chat. And that is something very cute I found. So I always add this here. Uh, Tapan did a great job in introducing me, but I'll just touch upon a couple of more things. Yep, I am. I was a developer relations engineer at Storyblock. That is how I started. But recently, I started focusing more on the community front. So currently, I transitioned to a new role, which is developer community specialist. Storyblock is a headless CMS. If you are not aware of CMS, do check it out. It's a great thing. CMS stands for Content Management System, and Storyblock is a headless CMS. So again, a different thing altogether to explore. But yeah, check out if you want to. I am currently a GitHub field expert from India region, which means I help GitHub education team to uplift the local regional community and also support the campus experts from India. And that is how I contribute to the community there. I'm also a Major League Hacking coach, which means I spend my time helping hackathon organizers to run events and also go to hackathons to enhance the hacker experience of the hackers in any MLH supported events. Yes, I'm Hack This Fall organizer and speaker for today. So that is about me. But yeah, talking about hackathons, again, as I mentioned, it has been a great part of my journey since the beginning. I started my hackathon journey in 2018. 2018 and half 2019 was all about just participating. You know, I attended tons of hackathons. I traveled to different places. At first, I wasn't even aware of what a hackathon is. You know, it was a super new term for me. And I was wondering that, do I need to hack some things or do I need to, do some software decoding just to hack some password or some admin accounts, all that stuff. But I was wrong because hackathons are a place where you can come up with your own ideas, solve a real world problem with the skills you have, with the experience you have, while also collaborating with the team, working on different products, and so much more. So it's a big, term. But yeah, there's so much to do with that. So a couple of hackathons I've been associated with. Hack This Fall, of course, it's my video on hackathon. Apart from that, I helped co-organize other hackathons in the past. I've been involved with the communities since a long time. GitHub Campus Expert has been the biggest one of it. As you know, I'm also a GitHub Field Expert. But yeah, so 2019, mid 2019, I started to share more what I had with myself. So after gaining enough of experience, I started to talk to hackers. I started mentoring them. I started to speak at events. I started to judge events, and that's how I started giving back to the community after 1.5 or 2 years. Then 2020 was all about getting new experiences, getting new exposures, and 2020 was the year when I started organizing hackathon. I used to organize events in general or meetups in general, but hackathon is total different thing. So 2020 was for me the start of my hackathon organizing journey, and from then I've been to bunch of hackathons, helping organizers, helping them understand how to run hackathons, or just helping hackers like you by sharing what I have. I see Sham in the chat. Hi, Sham. Thank you so much for joining in. And I also see Ayush. Thank you so much, Ayush. You are amazing too. Thanks for joining. Cool. But yeah, let's jump onto the topic of today. I would like to ask you all the question for everyone in the chat. I have this simple question for you: that what do you understand by winning a hackathon? So now it's your time to use the chat option. I'm gonna wait for your answers now, and because there's a lag between StreamYard and YouTube, so I'm gonna wait for a couple of seconds so that you all can drop in your answer. It can be any random thing. Do not think too much. Whatever comes in your mind at very first, just drop that in the chat. The question is simple: what does winning a hackathon means to you, or what do you mean by winning a hackathon? And that's as simple as that. So whatever you think of, like this, for example, something is this is something for me that means winning a hackathon is. So whatever you think, you can put it in the chat. And also, while you are doing that, there are a couple of like answers that I have received from the hacker community members about the same question. So yes, I see Nag is writing in implement our thought. That is definitely a great understanding of how to win a hackathon or winning a hackathon, that you are able to implement what you started thinking. So great one, Nagis. Thank you so much for sharing that. But also, many of the community members had this common responses where they mentioned that winning a hackathon for them is prizes or the awards that are distributed in a hackathon, or any position which they achieve in a hackathon. For example, they are the first, or they are in top 10, or they are in top 20. So understanding that there's a level in a hackathon while they're participating, and if they are achieving that level, they they started feeling that okay, this is something winning a hackathon means. Also, Ayush mentions, for me, winning is learning, exploring, getting exposure of new things, and obviously a get new experience showcase in resume if I win it. That's a fantastic thought, Ayush. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm gonna jump on to a couple of such points as well in my coming slide, but that's a great thought. Uh, but yeah, prizes, awards, positions. Is that all? Is that all what is meant by winning? So I would say there's more than that. It's not just limited to these prizes or awards or levels which we, pre-assume before participating or contributing to any hackathon. So definitely there's more than that. And while I say that, I would like to highlight this particular thing here, which is the hackathon cycle. So it all starts from learning, then building, and then sharing, and then also repeating this cycle. Shyam mentions, for me, hackathon is an experiment, either success or maybe not also. Definitely. Let's say if there's a hackathon or there are 200 people participating, but only 3 or 4 teams will be able to be in the top leaderboard. What about the others? Is that something that they do not win the hackathon and only the one with the prizes win the hackathon? The answer is no, and I'll let you know how. So, Shyam, if you win, it's a success, but if you do not win, it's not a loss. So, I'm going to talk about it. But here in front of you is the hackathon cycle, which says learn, build, and share, and repeating that. But what does this learn, build, and share means? Like, let's dissect these terms. So if I talk about learn, there are a couple of things here which are mentioned. So while we participate in a hackathon, we start learn we start learning to work in teams. We start understanding the value of collaboration. We might go in a hackathon with our friends, with our colleagues, with our roommates or classmates, but at the same time, we learn how to work with them in a team. What are the skills that are required to collaborate meaningfully, and not only this, in case you're participating in a hackathon without any teams, so there's an opportunity for you to talk to other people, network with them, ask them if they would like to join your team or you would like to join their team. And that is where you start understanding the sense of collaboration, or working in a team in a right way. Then start learning how to share. Many a times, I remember when I was in my college, many times I was hesitant in sharing things with others or just learning from others. But at the same time, hackathons taught me that it's okay to learn from others. Everyone have something unique to share. Everyone have their own experiences, and you learn from them. And that is like the best thing, because let's say if I'm gonna learn about a specific term or a specific technology, hackathons provide me so many people who I can talk to. For example, let's start with as basic as HTML and CSS. Now, there are so many people knowing about it, and I can talk to each and every one of them, get different perspectives, get their own experiences, and learn from it. And at the same time, you are allowed to share what you know. And that is what I love about Hackathon. Next is upskilling yourself. So I still remember when I started, I was knowing nothing about coding. It was my first year when I attended my first hackathon, and I was only having the basic knowledge of hardware programming and a little Internet of Things. But with hackathons, I started learning more of the languages, technologies, HTML, CSS, web dev, and so much more. And it allowed me to upskill myself, because at hackathons, I got an opportunity to learn something overnight, and not just learn, but implement it, so that I gain more practical experience. So that's when I started upskilling, and I am sure that you all can upskill as well. Next thing was open source plus internships. Now, I still remember all the hackathons I've been to. There were speakers, there were judges, there were mentors, there were the organizers, there were sponsors who were sponsoring those hackathons. You could actually talk to them, ask if there are any opportunities, explore them, contribute to open source, get to know more about what are the open issues onto the open source, what are the open source projects, what are the ways you can contribute to, see if there's any discussion, and you just learn the entire process. And that is something which is super unique in its own way. And the other point is internships. So I still remember I made tons of connections just through hackathons, which helped me gain different internships when I was in my college days. So that is a great gateway, I would say, to the industry world as well. As Sham mentioned, absolutely, but I was meaning success in doing some expensive building front. Oh, absolutely. Thanks for making it clear. Thank you so much. Cool. So that is about learning. I'm sure there's so much more which can be added to this single type of learning. If you think we can add more, feel free to add it in the chat and we can talk about it. But the next phase in the cycle was build. So when I talk about build, it starts with solving problems. So at hackathons, or let's say before you go to any hackathon, you have a couple of ideas in your mind, many problems you encounter in your day-to-day life. And you think that, oh, this is a problem. Why is it not getting solved? And if anyone in India, they can relate with me. We encounter a lot of problems on a day-to-day basis, and we complain a lot. But at the same time, hackathons give us an opportunity where we can solve those problems. Solve those problems how? By our own skill sets, by our own experiences, by learning new things, by collaborating with team members. So hackathons give us a platform where we can solve the shared struggles of our society. And that is something I feel a great thing, because if I'm able to contribute in any way to my society by solving any problem, I feel responsible. And that is what hackathon allows you to do. Collaborating with others. As I mentioned, at first you learn how to work in a team. While in the cycle of build, you actually work with them, you collaborate with them, you take that collaboration for a longer run and see how effective that collaboration works out. Connections plus networking. Hackathon helps you to build this thing. And when I say, I really mean it, because I cannot even imagine or can count the number of people I have met in my hackathon journey. And all of them have so much to share, so much amazing work they all are doing. And I just get inspired every day by talking to them, by knowing what they are up to. So connections plus networking is the biggest asset which building activity can give you at a hackathon. Resume building and practicality. Uh, just like someone mentioned in the chat, for example, yes, Ayush mentioned that you get to improve your resume, and that is absolutely correct. While you are being at a hackathon, you learn new things. You add a different tech stack to the list of what in your resume, and you also build a lot of projects. So you get to add those projects into, let's say, your GitHub profile. your any other profile, your resume, of course, that these are the projects you have worked in, these are the technologies you have worked with, or these are the problems you have solved. So of course it helps you build your resume and your practical knowledge, because in college we end up knowing more about the theory, but at hackathons you actually start implementing them and knowing more about how this problem can be solved by n number of approaches. So yeah, that is about building. But we also need to make sure that we are sharing it at the same time, because while in this process we take in a lot, but at the same time it's very important to give back as well. So first and foremost, which is the best place for you to be in, is hacker community. And you get to share your thoughts, share what you are up to, share your knowledge, everything and anything with the hacker community. And when I say hacker community, it's a community full of people who are fond of hackathons, who know that hackathon adds value, who knows or have been through the journey of improvising themselves, becoming better version of themselves. So you get to be part of hacker community and share anything and everything. You get to share with the wider community by contributing as a mentor, by contributing as a judge, as a speaker, by sharing with others your journey, your learnings, and the mistakes you have done, and how to improvise or how to learn from them. You get to share a bond with the new friends. Uh, in this entire journey of you participating in a hackathon, you'll meet a lot of people. Of course, it starts with a professional connect, it starts with a more of a formal connect, but with time, you end up gaining some bonds which turns into friendships, and those are very valuable, believe me. So I have met a couple of friends via hackathon. Some of them, I would just like to highlight one person here, Shive. I've met him and he is a great friend now, and we met via a hackathon. So you can meet so many such people. You never know who you end up being a friend with, and that friendship goes for the lifetime. So definitely, uh, you get to share common interests with community. Now let's say if I started with my community journey in hackathon space, now because I'm very fond of organizing hackathon, I could also meet people who are fond with similar kind of interest. So I get to talk with them, I get to share what I have up in my mind, how they are planning their events, how they are organizing hackathons, what struggles do we share, and so much more. So this way you could just not grow alone, but grow in a group, grow in a community, grow together. And that's a great superpower, I would say. And there's so much more which you can add to this belt of share. But also moving on, while all of this happening, there are a couple of small wins which we all should consider and make sure that we are highlighting that. So, in a hackathon, you never should forget that it's an opportunity to celebrate your small wins and have fun. Because it should not be like you're participating in hackathon, you're just focusing on building, you're just focusing on coding, and completing your project at the end of the day. No, enjoy the process, celebrate, have fun, be happy, feel proud of where you are, and just take a moment to feel the energy from that particular moment of your journey. Next thing is earn free food plus swags. Free food, of course, in-person hackathons, you can say, but swags, of course, the virtual swags, in-person swags, and so much more which you can grab up just for free. And for me, I consider this a small win, because I came in a hackathon empty hand, but I'm going with something, and I consider that as a small win, because for me that is my motivation, right? Uh, thing is, grab small opportunities, and it can be in any way. You know, just talking to someone is an opportunity. Just asking right question is an opportunity. Just helping out someone else is an opportunity. So opportunity can come in any form, in any way. All you need to do is just keep your doors open, so that opportunity doesn't need to knock it, not even twice, but not even once, right? So understanding and being a good observant while in a hackathon is also a very good thing to keep in mind, because if you feel like there's something happening, and if you feel you can contribute, help, add value in any way possible, that's your time. Just grab that opportunity. Don't think of an end result. Whatever you do, just keep on doing, and you'll get the results in some or the other way. So small win here is that grabbing small opportunities. And last but not the least, in any of this process, you become better version of yourself. So you observe yourself before participating in a hackathon. And let's say you observe yourself after 2 days or 3 days of that hackathon. You'll definitely feel the change. You'll definitely feel that you have become a better version of yourself. You have improved in ABC ways. You have learned something new. You have talked to new people. You have outnumbered your fears. You have done something which was not cup of your tea. You have come out of your comfort zone. You were able to think out of the box. You were able to speak to people. You were able to build something. You were able to code. You were able to get something which you didn't had before. And that is something which I consider a small win for myself, which is an individual thing, right? So of course, Vadat Parker say free Red Bull. Yes, I remember at Hack This Fall season 4, which was season 3, which was in person this year, Feb. We had free Red Bulls for everyone. So that was again a different story. We had ton of amazing time drinking that free Red Bulls, of course. But yeah, things like this, this is your time to celebrate and have fun and have the best time. So that are something small wins, and that can be like any number of small wins, depending on you. It's totally subjective how you consider small wins as. But something I really also want to focus on is hackathon continuous things. Now, we all know that all of these things are practical, but while we are participating in a hackathon, there should be a flow. There should be different stages which you should focus on. And I would like to divide the stages into 4 parts here. So in any hackathon that you participate in, it all starts from idea. You know, you or your team or any of the friends you're working with, you all come up with n number of ideas. And it should not happen like when the hackathon starts, you start working on the idea. I would recommend in your day-to-day life, whenever you encounter any problem, just write it down somewhere. Because at the end, when the hackathon starts and you start thinking about the idea, you will never be able to remind yourself that, okay, what were the ideas or problem statements we were thinking in the past. So whenever you encounter any problem or any idea at any time of the day, just note it down somewhere so that when you participate in your next hackathon, you can visit the notes of yours. So it all starts from idea. Find something which you really think adds a lot of value if you solve it, something which help larger masses, something that really helps the society in any way possible, and something which you think can be solved by your skills or your experience. Or maybe if you learn something new, you'll be able to solve it. Also, while working on idea, understand which hackathon you're participating in. So let's say many hackathons do provide their own problem statements. So you can find something which suits you from the list of problem statements they have to offer. At the same time, many hackathons have an open innovation track. So you can keep an eye on any other ideas you have up in your mind. Many hackathons, they have their own themes, for example, AI/ML, web, or IoT, or Web3, or any other stuff. So accordingly, you can cater your idea or anything else. For more inspiration, you can talk to your college friends, you can talk to your parents, you can talk to your family members, you can discuss or network with the fellow hackathon participants, you can interact with the mentors. This way, you can gather a lot of insights. This way, you can gather a lot of ideas as well. Or if you have any idea by yourself, you can talk about that idea with all these people and get their views, what they think about it. How do they think that this definitely is a good idea? So doing your own research comes in very handy in this particular thing. So that is the first stage. Of course, once you have the idea logged in, you have everything in place, that's a good start for sure. And ideation is something which you can start doing even before the hackathon. During the hackathon duration, it's important that you build only in that duration. But with ideation, it's all up in your mind. It's all pen paper work. So you can do that before the hackathon as well. No one is stopping you. But then comes in the second stage, which is teamwork. Now you have the idea and everything. Now it's really very important for you to find a good team. When I say finding a good team, there are various aspects to it. I would not say, okay, let's start with the number of team members you should have. I would say having 3 to 5 team members in a team is more than enough. I would not go with 2. I would not go with 6. But if you have anywhere between 3 to 5, that's a good number. 4 is the most safe number, I would say. It's not that you cannot do with less or more numbers, but this is more of like an average number of team members you can have, and it's a good number. I recommend everyone to consider while making a team, right? And also, you might be thinking that what kind of team members we should have. So I would say I would recommend not to have same kind of team members in the team. Everyone knows same thing. That is the bad idea. Everyone should have something unique to share or something unique to bring to the table while in a team. So let's say there's someone knowing the front end, someone knowing the back end, someone who can work on the ideation, work on the theories, work on the implementation, and someone who is just ready to go and pitch out there, who is a good public speaker, who is a good thinker, who is a good orator. You would need such people in your team as well. Someone who has a good design sense, someone who is good entrepreneur sense when it is about pitching right ideas, someone who has knowledge of the market. All these things, those are valuable as well. So do not think that hackathon team should only have technical people or coding people. uh, I remember participating in teams which had designers in them, zero knowledge of coding, marketers in them, zero knowledge of coding, and they ended up winning a hackathon. So having a hackathon team, and if it's a complete package, that's a great one. So make sure you have that thing. And also, uh, respect your team members, I would say, because not everyone will be on same level. Some will be experienced, some will be just getting started, and it's totally fine. Because you're a team, it's your time to help each other or back each other. And if someone is knowing, yes, learn from them. And if you think that person is not knowing anything, go ahead and teach them. That's the best thing which you can do by helping the team members. That's how you build that trust, build that relation, and build that fluency in working as a team. So that is important. And also, while you're forming the team, make sure that you always find new team members. Now, okay, I understand that you have a group of people or a group of team you go in every hackathon and participate in, but that's good for you. I would say that's a brilliant thing. You take one team in every hackathon, but I would also recommend trying out finding new team members in every hackathon. That is a new learning curve as well. So that way you'll able to meet new people. You'll be able to understand how it works working with new people. Because let's say if you go out of the college, when you start working in industry, you'll start building a career. You'll have different teams to cope with, different teams to work with, and hackathons are a great place to understand that mindset. Going through that phase, going through that process, valuing the patience, understanding how it is important to understand others' point, and all these small little things which we often miss while participating in hackathon. But yeah, that is about teamwork, and there's so much more I can talk about it. But these are just great starting points, I would say. Uh, Next stage is execute. Uh, Now that you have your idea, your problem statement in place, now that you have a good team to work with, the next very important thing here will come is execution. Now, every hackathon have different duration. Some is 12 hours, 24 hours, 36 hours, 2 day, 3 day, depends on the kind of hackathon. Someone even lasts for a week, for a month, depends. But whatever idea you have thought, start understanding or defining the different phases or stages in your idea or your problem statement. What is your end result? Focus on that. Okay, this is my end result. This is what we want to achieve. And start going backwards and start defining stages. Okay, this is the first stage we want to achieve, second stage. Once you have defined the stages, start working on allocating the duration or time slots. Let's say if there's 24 hours, I would straight up remove 8 hours from that, which gives me 16 hours here. Because in the entire duration, you will sleep, you will eat, you will listen to some songs, you will just go out and have some fun. There will be mini events, there'll be workshops that you'll be attending. So in the entire 24 hours, you do not consider all those hours, right? Because that time you're not building. So just remove some extra hours from that. For example, if it's a 24, I just straight up remove 8 hours from that, and that uh, you know keeps me with the 16 hours. Now you actually have 16 hours to build the project. It can be different in your case depending on how much you're engaging in the other activities, how much you're sleeping, how much you're spending your time eating food or stuff like that. But yeah, in my case, let's say it's 16 hours is left. And now even in that, I'm sure that you'll need a lot of time learning new things, debugging, understanding your problem the right way, discussing, brainstorming, and so much more. So let's say if I remove 2 3 hours from it, you're left with 12 to 13 hours. Now let's say the number least here is 12. So now you have 12 hours to build your project, and now you define your stages. Now you define your durations. Let's say if I have 4, I'll just keep 3 hours. In first 3 hours, you need to complete your first stage. In next 3 hours, you need to complete your second, and so on and so forth. While you're doing all of this thing, make sure you keep a buffer time as well for yourself. Buffer time just in case you exceed a particular duration, you end up learning more, you end up brainstorming more, so you need buffer time as well. So buffer time helps you a lot while saving up on time. And I would keep a target of ending my project at least 4 hours before the hackathon deadline, because the last few hours are full of rush. You need to document your project, you need to submit it, you need to do a lot of things before the actual hard deadline. So keep that time for that. Also, keep some time for debugging of your final thing. Go through each and everything, see if it is working. I would recommend recording the piece of working, because I have personally seen many hackathon teams failing their hackathon ideas right at the end moment because the code crashed. They were not able to call right APIs. They had a minor change in the code, XYZ reasons. So I would say as soon as you see your project working right and fine, record it there and then so you can have that as a backup. And that's a great piece of advice which many hackers understood and they helped them in for the longer run. Also, while executing, understand where you're failing. Have a plan B. Plan B is very important. Let's say if you see things not working the way you thought, you can quickly switch to the plan B. Maybe some other approaches, maybe some other idea which you have up in mind, maybe some other way to approach the solution. That is also important. While all of this is happening, make sure you are having the proper communication within your team. Talk to each other, tell what is happening, tell what stage we are at, what are the next stages, who is doing what, divide that work effectively. Make sure everyone is working, everyone knows their priorities and everything. So the communication within your team member is very important. And all of this simultaneously, there'll be mentors. Talk to them, uh, share what your updates are, ask them if you are on the right track, seek for advices. Even you feel like not needing one, an advice will only help you understand a different perspective. So many a times we have our own thoughts, we are bound with, but when let's say a third person comes in and they talks about something and you start feeling okay, this is something a great way and you should consider it. So asking right questions and keeping the advice is also very important. So that is about execute. There's again so much more to it, but these are some great starting points. And the last one here is pitch. So this is one of the most crucial phase I can say, because in many hackathons, what I've observed is this is the stage which can turn the tables for you. So no matter how much you have done in the first three stages, the idea, the teamwork, the execution, pitching or the conclusion or the submission after submission period, that is the stage which is very crucial because you definitely can turn the tables here. Now make sure you send someone very experienced with talking, someone who knows your project from start to end. Send someone like that to pitch. Pitching never happens in all the hackathons, it's more in-person hackathons. But in virtual hackathons as well, there are times when the pitching happens. In many hackathons, there's always also something like shoot a video or document your project. And that is what I consider pitching in such hackathons. So when you're shooting the video, understand that they are not seeking for your presentation here. Do not waste time on presentation unless it is a mandatory thing. And even if it is mandatory, I would personally want you to focus on the actual project that you're working on. So showcase that at its first place. So shoot a video, start from talking about the idea, what problem you're solving, what is the value that it is adding, and how it is different than existing ideas in the market. What is your USP, unique selling point, and you can talk about it. Then talk about what are the things you started implementing. How did you solve this problem? What are the tech stack you're using? Were there any problems that you encountered while solving this problem? How did you overcome it? All of these things are really important. Talk about how was your team division? How did you distribute the work? Who did what? And what new you learned during this process? What is something you were not knowing, but you started knowing just after implementing this idea, or you learned through that journey? Talk about all of these things. And that is why it is important. And talk about something like future aspects. How far would you like to take this idea? What is something you are going to implement? Now, all of this is something in general, but for every hackathon, there are different things which are considered for judging your project, which we call it as judging criteria. So, a quick pro tip I can give you here is that whenever you are pitching your idea, whenever you are documenting your idea, or you are making a video of your idea, just make sure you are aware of all the judging criteria. And now, because you are aware, you know what the judges are going to look out for while they are judging your projects. So, answer your pitch or prepare your video or your document in such a way that answers all the criteria listed on the judging criteria list. Now, for example, if I am judge, or consider yourself as a judge and you are asked to judge a project and you have been given a list of criteria. Now, me as a judge, I'm definitely going to look at the general aspects of the project, but at the end, I have to give marks on the basis of these criteria. And if I am able to encounter or point out those things in your project, it's easy for me to track it down. It's easy for me to, give the marks. Let's say if it's about innovation, one of the judging criteria is how innovative your project is. Now, all the hackers are aware of the criteria since beginning. While you're pitching, make sure you pitch it in a way that you are focusing on how innovative your project is. You talk about the innovation, you talk about the points that makes it unique, you talk about how innovative you come up with these ideas or what challenges you face through. And making it in that way will help the judge understand, and they start focusing on, okay, this project is innovative, this project is something which you have worked innovatively, and that's where you gain your marks there. And this is a pro tip, I would say, because this has helped personally me in many hackathons and also many hackers that I've got connected with. So innovation was just an example. There are many other criteria which you can work on. So depending on that, prepare your pitch, I would say. Be confident, know your problem. It's very important, because if you are not aware of what you're doing, I don't think the others will be able to understand as well. And yeah, just be transparent, be open with the question, do not hesitate in asking if you need to. And yeah, that's it, I would say. So this is like 4 stages of a hackathon which I recommend everyone to follow, and at the same time being part of the learn build share cycle is also important. But after doing all of this, I think I have won the hackathon. If I'm able to follow the cycle, if I'm able to follow the stages, I feel accomplished. I have been able to win a hackathon, even if I've learned something, even if I've built something, even if I've been able to share something. I feel that I've won a hackathon. So now the question is for you, that do you think that you have won the hackathon? If yes, you can just drop in yes in the chat. And that is more than enough for me to understand that after going through this particular things or understanding the mindsets of while participating in a hackathon, you feel accomplished. You feel like, okay, this is something I've done. Yes, I've talked to people. Yes, I have networked with people. Yes, I've learned something new. Yes, I was able to collaborate well in a team. I was able to communicate well. All of these things. Even if there's a yes for any of this question, I think you have won the hackathon and you have become a better version of yourself. So remember the cycle: learn, build, share, and repeat. And that's it from my side. Thank you for listening. Happy hacking with the hackathon. I hope this added some or the other value. Of course, there's too much to explore, but I was here just to help you get your first steps. The next steps are up to you. You take your second, third, or the 100th step. But yeah, I'm happy to bring any questions you have in the chat or anything else as well. Hi, Tapas.
I
Welcome
think,
again.
yeah, hi. I think in chat there are different acknowledgement of the fact that they learned something new, and I've also learned something new listening to you. While folks kind of prepare their questions and type in the chat, I have one. So, for example, the hackathon that we are running, Hacker Play, what we're planning to do is basically we'll be selecting top 10 ideas, and they have to really do a demonstration of their, what they have implemented in front of the judges, and they will be given like say 5 minutes maximum to talk about like what they're going to demonstrate, right? And what to demonstrate, how to demonstrate, we not necessarily we teach them. It's kind of should come from each of the participants of the team. Do you have any advice, like if you have 5 minutes to present your 3 weeks of work, what do you do for that? Any best
Yeah,
practice for that?
yeah, absolutely. It's a great question, and I guess I also emphasize this in my pitching stage. Now, again, let's say, because this is where you are actually gonna pitch in a virtual way, send someone who is very good at speaking, who knows your project right from very beginning till the end, what you all have done, the journey you have been through. Someone who is a good orator, I would say, because you do not need to mug up your pitch. This is the journey that you have been through, so there's no
Yeah.
script needed here. All of the points you should know, because this is what you have been working on since last 3 weeks. So the first bad idea which I would say not to do is making a script. Let it be natural, just like you are explaining something to your friends or family, because that will be very true to yourself, I would say. Second thing is, because you have 5 minutes, you have a duration with yourself. And of course, that's a great point I forgot to mention. You'll always have a duration, be it virtual pitching, in person pitching, creating a video, writing a document in that limit with the characters. So you'll always have a duration. When it comes to durations like this, 5 minutes, break it down. Let's say first 1 minute, you just focus on an idea, because that is important. What is your idea? What is your problem statement? Why you chose this one? Are there not existing solutions on this idea? If yes, how is your idea different than the existing ones? What is something new you are bringing to the table? Very important in the first one. Second is, how did you approach the solution? Okay, this is the problem statement, but how were you able to solve this? What was that journey? What were the tech stacks you used? What were the challenges you faced? How did you overcome those challenges in it? How was your team division? Who did what? Everything like that is important while you're sharing that. Last, this okay. By the way, give this 2 minutes. The last 2 minutes are left. Give 1 minute to all the things which you might want to do but were not able to do. Things you learned, uh, points that really matter to you about your idea, which is like something which is super unique just for yourself or for your team. And last 1 minute is just a buffer time, I would say. If you have
Mhm.
5 minutes, not important that you use your 5 minutes every time. So last 1 minute, keep a buffer. Keep just in case you forgot some things you want to add later. Keep just in case any of other team member wants to speak. If there are any questions, if last minute you come up with any other thing, keep that for that. Buffer is very important, be it anywhere, be it your pitch, your execution, your hackathon duration, or any other random thing which you're going to do in your life. So yeah, I would divide it in that way. If there is question answers included in that, I would also dissect all of these durations even more less. But if the question answers are separate, I would just keep 4 minutes out of five, and then stretch it and open the stage for questions.
Yeah. Sounds great. I think it really summarized the thing very well. For I'm sure that people who are listening to it right now or will be catching up with the video, post hour, they will get benefit out of it. I want to check with folks who are there. If you have any questions to ask, you can just put them down in the chat so that Sid can take up and clarify things for you. Okay, there is a question. If I'm just putting this question, if I'm participating alone in a hackathon, how can I handle everything from planning the idea to pitch? Yeah, so the current hackathon is like it's both solo and team, so you
Okay,
can also go solo. So there are folks who are going solo. So Ayush is coming from that part.
nice. Hi, Ayush. First of all, you're a great warrior, I would say. Of course, it's okay participating in solo for hackathons that allow it. It's not a bad thing. So, of course, if you're participating alone, that's a great one that you started this journey on your own. Uh, Coming to your question, which says, how can I handle everything from buying the idea to pitch? Just like I mentioned, now because you are participating solo, you are onto yourself. You are not dependent on anyone else. And I feel, I personally have worked solo a lot many times, and that's a great advantage, I would say. You know everything. You do not need to ask anyone. You do not need to share with anyone. You are your own chariot driver. I would say, you know your path. You know your problems. You know how you face them. What new you learned. What were the blockers. You know yourself. So that's like the easiest way you can cope up with the situation. Start from idea. Of course, when I say idea, It's important because you won't be able to discuss that with your team members because you don't have one. So discuss your idea with the fellow hackathon members, or let's say other participants. If you're not comfortable, talk to mentors, talk to organizers. Those are like the great people and they are here for you. So asking them about your idea will help you validate it, will help you enhance it, will help you change it in some or the other way. So first stage you can take it that way. Second is the teamwork. Now you do not need it, so this stage doesn't work for you, right? So just I would say focus on yourself in that phase. When it comes to teamwork, just understand who you are, because of course we know who we are. This is a dumb question I might you might think I'm saying right now, but it is important in a hackathon that you understand who you are. And when I say who you are, understanding this, understand what you can do and what you can't do. Just have a fine line between that. Because while you're working on a project or your idea, in the very start, you feel like, okay, you'll be able to accomplish everything and you'll be able to build it. But as soon as you start executing, you'll start feeling, okay, this is getting trickier and this is what I
Mm.
did not imagine and I'm not able to do it. So if you have the idea of what you are not able to do beforehand, it will be very easier for you to understand where you can stop and where you can seek for advice, where you can seek for new learnings, and you know what new things you need to learn. Let's say if I'm working on a project AIML and I'm not aware of AIML, and if I think in 12 hours I will be able to learn basics, it's good. But if I'm not able to, it's not practical. So you have to be practical in such events, which is time bound. You know,
Mm.
if you feel like there's too many things that you do not know, I know you can learn that, but sometimes practicality is more important. Out of 10, you might be end up learning six, seven things, but without just learning those three things, you won't be able to identify the solutions till the end. So having that practical understanding of who you are is important. That is the second phase I would recommend you to work on. Third is execution, as simple as you're executing an idea, adding the phases, reaching out to mentors, working on it, having the buffer time. That's it. And the last is pitching. Again, you know the story, you just need to recite it. And that is as simple.
Cool. I hope Ayush you got your answer. Okay, if there are any other questions, you can keep typing them in chat. We'll take it up. In the meantime, let me ask one more that came in my mind. Sid. Um, so the hackathon, all the hackathons get a duration, right? Be it 3 weeks, 1 month, or 2 days, right? How do you see folks kind of continuing their journey even after the hackathon, right? On the ideas that they have started in the hackathon, how they kind of keep their momentum and the motivation on even after the hackathon?
Yeah, I guess again that's one of the questions that not many but very few hackers ask after the hackathon ends. Honestly, there are different kinds of hackers that participate in hackathon.
Mm.
Some hackers are just to experience the hackathon, some are just there to learn, some are there to compete, some are there to validate their ideas. And the question which you asked is for the last category, who are there to validate their ideas. They're not here to win. They're not here to talk to people, network with people. They are
Mm.
here just to validate what their ideas are. And those are the people who carry their ideas for the rest of the coming months. So if you are there to validate your ideas, then you are there to
Yeah, look like I missed him and he got disconnected. So we'll just wait for a second for him to come back. Okay, Sid is back.
Yes, I think I am back, but there was a
Yes, yes.
there is a power cut here,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that is why.
You're back.
But I hope I'm audible perfectly. Let me see if I
Yes, you
can.
are. You are.
Okay, I'm audible better. Yeah, it got freeze, but I got the power cut. But I just joined from mobile hotspot, and I'm glad it just went after I ended my slides. Cool. So I was saying about the other kind of hackers who are there just to validate. Now, for them, it is really good for them, like a good platform because they can hear
n number of things about their ideas. They can hear criticism, they can know how others think, they do a public survey, they do user
Hmm.
research, and hackathons are definitely a great place to do that. They are not they are okay with listening bad about their ideas. They are, and I would say, even if you are just getting started in doing this process, keep the optimistic as your mindset. You know, so that's a great way of looking at it, and I highly recommend people to continue their projects. Many people end up building their projects 100%, of course, fantastic, but there's a scope to add a lot to your project. So even after the hackathon ends, keep building on top of it, continue with your uh, and maybe you end up getting something new. Many people end up making their hackathon projects as startup. They do new things and start a company through that. Because you are trying to solve a real world problem, there's a scope which you can cater on. So of course that's a good idea. People take projects in different hackathons. They start with small scale, they take the same projects to a larger scale event. When also there comes a situation here, not every hackathon allows the projects built from the past hackathons to get submitted in their hackathons. In that case, as you can come up with something new, top on, build off what you have actually or already built. Show the difference in these hackathons. But for people who are considering these as sprints, of course, take it forward. This is your opportunity. You'll definitely learn a lot and improvise a lot on the way. So yes.
Awesome, awesome, great. Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, sorry, there is a frozen moment in between due to the power
No
issue.
worries.
Yeah. So all right. So I don't see any other questions in the chat yet. But for the folks who will be catching up with this video later point of time, if you have any questions, so said where and how they can find you if they need any further assistance.
Oh, sure. I guess I'm actually on the Discord server of React Play. So you can, maybe there might be a channel where people can ask question. You can tag me there.
Yep.
And for the duration of the hackathon, I'll keep that server as a notification on, so I can get all the mentions there.
Awesome, that's great. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can post in the Hacker Play channel. Just tag Siddharth over there. If you have any questions to him, we'll be expecting that he'll get back with the answers. All right, thanks, Sid. We're coming to an end of this session. Thanks a lot for taking your time out and doing this. I really appreciate that you did this. And in future, I'm sure like we'll have more events where we can also collaborate, we can also learn from each other down the line. So I would like to really thank and appreciate your time and effort for doing this.
Sure. Thank you so much, Tapas, for having me. Also, Darsh from your team who reached out. Thanks
Yep.
for considering me the right person for this. I had a great time sharing all of these things. And all the very best to all the hackers. Happy hacking. Thank you once again.
Yeah, thank you, thanks a lot. And I would also like to kind of invite you, like if your time permits, please come and join our final demo. We'll be scheduling that and I'll put into schedule. So if your time permits, please come and join to see the top 10 demonstration of the implementation.
Surely. Thanks. Thanks, Tapas.
Thank you. All right, everyone, take a great care of yourself. Bye bye, happy hacking.
Bye, everyone.